Hey guys, Sierra Bailey here with Accel Commercial Real Estate. The video you're watching ties into our event in June, Accelerate. If you want to learn more about what you see today, scan the QR code on your screen or click the link in the description to get your tickets now before early bird pricing runs out. Enjoy the video.
Because ultimately it's your money, right? And we're going to give you the benefit of our knowledge, but in the end, you're going to be the one that's going to be writing that check. And so you can't, in the end, when all is said and done, you and only you really shoulder the risk. And part of our goal is to teach you how to do that due diligence and not rely on a podcast only, just one podcast or whatever, because that is not gonna, and I don't know that there's an investor in this room or even on this webinar that has not made mistakes. Some big, ouch ones. And some of them, you thought when you first did it, you thought it was a mistake and it turned out to be a blessing in disguise. And sometimes you think it's the thing that's going to make you all the money, and it ends up being the biggest dog that you've ever owned, and you can't get rid of it. So, really and truly, there is I don't know if there's any purchase of real estate that does not have risk. Period. There's going to be risk. COVID. Who knew the state of Kentucky was going to shut down? For how long? How long has it been now? As far as evictions, etc. There is no way anyone on the planet could have predicted that, right? It's just some of the stuff, like Paul said, with eviction law, there is just no way. But I'll echo what Rich Dad Poor Dad, Mr. Koyasaki said yesterday in an interview. Why would you save money when they just keep printing more? So we feel that no matter how bad things get, that real estate is the time immemorial asset to basically save wealth. And that it is collateralized wealth. In the end, you still have the dirt. And no matter what happens, as long as ownership is still a thing, you're still going to have that asset. And there can be an exchange. So the question is, look into your crystal ball and talk about cap rate compression versus liquidity in the system and countering the cost of debt. Okay.
Yeah, wow. Those are great questions. All 5 of them.
Well, the cap rate compression is a result of a lot of what's going on in the market. So they are very interrelated. But there's also regional, very, very strong regional forces, specifically in Middle Tennessee, that are going.
But my crystal ball on that is, I think that, so where we've seen that, cap compression right now over the last year or so, I think it's going to start loosening up. Actually, I think you're going to start, right now it is difficult to find properties to sell, right? For us, or anybody else, out there.
But we are still finding them, so that, there is that, but
they're still out there, but it's, I think, you're going to now see, owners who are kind of holding on now that, things are going to start to open back up and all that. It's just, you asked my prediction, my crystal ball. I think you're going to see, the cap rates going back to, towards where they were. That's just my opinion. Just because things are starting to open back up, and sellers that were holding, I think they're now going to start looking at selling. So that's, that's my prediction. As far as as far as agency type financing though, I think that's gonna be, I don't know if that's gonna loosen up for a while because.
Remember, they have a limited pot of money, especially in Fannie.
Yeah, and if you heard Trey talk last week or last month about that, they only,
They give them X number of dollars.
for Fannie and Freddie.
And after that, then they don't have any more. So if that's the number and whatever that is, and what is Biden going to do with that?
For the small balance loan, I don't think that. What's that?
For on residential? Well, again, residential is based on the 10-year treasury, and commercial is generally based on consumer confidence. So consumer confidence tends to follow. It does follow. It does follow that. So there's a component of that. The challenge is you're just watering down the ability. Infusing all this money in the system. It is watering it down to some degree, and it is going to compress the cap rates to some degree. But what it's going to do, though, is it's also affecting yields for banking. And so if you're taking away the profit in banking, then you're going to tighten up the measures that are going to be used for the banking underwriting. And unfortunately, what we're seeing even right now is that the banks are lending more and more to the people who really don't need the money. They can afford to buy it themselves now, and we see this whenever there is either starting a compression or a recession or things like that. And I think the basis of your question is our crazy growth sustainable over time, and how does banking go into that? And that's actually part of why we feel like it's so necessary to have someone that we live in it every day, all day long. And some of you, that's what you do. If you're retired, I know you well enough to know that you're doing it too. And so we're not saying we're the only people that can help you. But at the same right, we're watching very carefully what their current administration is going to be doing. And that has been, just because they say that that's going to be their platform or that's in their plan, we're seeing even already that stuff is not getting passed. And the biggest factors are going to be what is going to happen with 1031 exchanges and what is going to happen with inheritance tax. Those are the two things that I'm watching the greatest. That 1031 exchange and the capital gains rates, that's going to affect greatly. And I think you're going to see a lot of people making the decision to hold their properties regardless of what the market is if there's a major change in capital gains. And so crystal ball is that I can't look that far, but what I can do is tell you triggers. So when you see that law change, then that's going to create a cascade that's going to fundamentally change things for us. And especially if they start doing more regulation in banking, which they're threatening to do, that's going to also start. And if they keep printing money, that is also going to have an effect. So you're asking really good fundamental questions. It's an if-then statement. If this happens, then this can happen. If this, then this, and we can have conversations about that. Maybe we'll have as an economist come and see if they dare to tread where, angels fear. Yeah. Well, really, economy is something I'm super fascinated. The economics is something I'm super fascinated in, and that's I'm the data nerd of the bunch. Anyway, so did you know all that stuff about Ryan, about his background? Is that fun to learn a little bit more about him, and also where that comes from? And hopefully, in getting to know him, you've gotten little nuggets here and there of things that you didn't know about real estate investing. And if there's something that we said tonight that you want us to go into further and look at that, we are also happy to do that. And again, we're happy to have those 30 and 45-minute conversations now. They may be scheduled. Don't expect us to just call, and hang up on the call we're on at the moment. But we would love to talk to you, and we would love to be able to have that time for education.
Thanks for watching this video. If you like what you see, be sure to follow our Generational Wealth Learning series. On select Thursdays, we offer cutting-edge industry information that would normally cost thousands of dollars. And the best part, our education is absolutely free. If you register through our events page, you can join us live, either in person or over Zoom. In the meantime, like this video, comment down below, and subscribe to our channel so you never miss a beat.